It's Local Edition. I'm Brett Pomerance. Thank you so much for joining us. We are joined today by Jerold Neuman. Now, he is the co-chair of the Business Leaders Task Force on Homelessness, which is a joint venture of
United Way and then the LA Chamber of Commerce.
So talk to me about how those two organizations, which you wouldn't think would get together, got together to focus on homelessness.
There was a study done that the United Way had engaged in that looked across the country on best practices. And what they found was throughout the country, in fact, even in areas like London, that it was when the business community joined in and joined forces with the nonprofit community and the faith-based community and the service community to address the problem of homelessness, that's when success happened. And so they reached out to the Chamber of Commerce.
So how did you get involved? I mean, you're a lawyer, you're a real estate attorney, you're busy. What incentivized you?
A couple of things. I mean, it was a problem. Homelessness is a problem. It's not like, to be honest, I was passionate about it and I thought every day about how do I solve homelessness. But I recognized that there were homeless people in the community. And in fact, one day my son and I were driving down the road and my son looked at me and he said, "Dad, why is that man sleeping on a bus stop?" And I said, "Well, he's homeless." And I realized then and there that I never wanted another father to have to answer that question. So when the United Way made the pitch at the Chamber of Commerce asking for people to volunteer to this new initiative, I thought, wow, there is never a better time. Seeing these two groups come together could be very powerful. I'm going to jump in and help make it happen.
So you're now co-chair, and your task force has actually launched a new program. It's called Home for Good. Correct. Tell us about the program.
Home for Good is a program which centers on housing first, in a sense. What we've recognized is that there is a large cost to homelessness in our community that people really don't realize. And the cost is in the multi-millions of dollars, and we can talk about that. But more importantly, that the way the system has worked to date is you incentivize people by hanging a carrot of a key to an apartment out there, and you say, if you do these 10 things over and over again, you will get that apartment. Well, when you have everything in your life on your back, when you only worry and your highest priority is, am I going to live through the night? Am I safe tonight? Getting to the point of saying, I can do that next thing and set that as my priority, and I can do it day after day after day until I earn this house, doesn't happen.
It's not going to work.
And so people think, homeless people don't want housing. Well, what they lost faith in was the system that gets them to housing.
So what is Home for Good doing then?
So what Home for Good says is we will reprioritize the availability of housing and create new housing opportunities, and we will put people in housing first. And we will use housing as the means to the ends being a vital life.
So in these new homes where these folks are living, are there services in the complexes in terms of resume writing, clothing, cleaning up, interview skills?
Right, you've been doing your homework.
I try. I pretend.
The reality of it only works when you provide permanent supportive services around permanent housing.
Right.
So if you create services there, even though they're not required to utilize those services, if they're there and Jack comes down the stairs and the person who's running the pharmaceutical dispensary says, "Hey Jack, did you take your meds today?" Right. Eventually when Jack feels safe enough, he's going to say yes to taking his meds, and he's going to do it over and over again.
Let me ask you, we know in Los Angeles County homelessness has been endemic, and it's actually one of the counties with the largest homeless rate in the country. Is there anything that we can do? I mean, I have a daughter like you have a son who sees homeless people and really hurts inside. What can we do?
Well, the reality of it is that's what Home for Good's about. So we have 52,000 homeless people, of which a little over 12,000 are chronically homeless. So what can we do? We can engage.
5 seconds or less.
Okay. We could engage in Home Walk that the United Way is putting on that funds homeless services, that funds a broad range of collaborative funding.
You'll come back. His name is Jerold Neuman. I'm Brett Pomerance. Thanks for joining us. Back to HLN.